Hello everybody, welcome back. Josh here with Josh's Lawn and Landscape. So you can tell I'm in the shop. If you can't tell, I've already been working a little bit. I am doing the deck swap on the Z920M. So this is a 54-inch deck. If you've been watching the channel for any short period of time in the last say 2 or 3 weeks or so, you've probably seen the video where I mentioned that I was having to had a place on the deck that needed to be fixed again. This is the third time in, like I say, recently the past year or less. And so I just made the decision to go ahead and invest in a new deck. The mower's got 1,500 hours on it. I don't know, I'm probably going to have this deck fixed and patched anyway. And I don't know if I'll turn around and sell it, or if I'll just keep it for emergency backup way down the road. I don't know. I may just try to sell it for maybe a couple $100 or something like that once I get it patched up. All the brackets and everything else is good on it. It's just a couple places where, like I say, it's been patched up a little bit. So got to get it out from under the 920 and everything. So I'm going to do a quick overview of what I've done up until the point where I'm at, and I probably will just come back in and each certain points and talk about how to do each phase of this. So and I'll talk about the tools that I use. So let me get the camera turned around, show you where I'm at, and then discuss everything I've used. So hang on. So as you can see, I'm doing the deck swap on the Z920. There's the new shell that I picked up. This is the original deck that's on it. This is the place that recently opened up, and you can see it looks like it's slowly working its way across here and back this way. And there's a couple other light places where it looks like it may be trying to come through. So what I'll probably do is, once I get this swapped out, all the pulleys, spindles, everything, when I'll focus on I'll get this taken and welded up and patched, so that'll be good to go here. And then, like I said, I may just turn around and sell this one and invest the money back into the business or in the savings just to have in case of an emergency. As you can see, obviously I got it out from under the mower. What you'll need for this to get it out from under the mower, first thing I recommend doing is taking the caster wheels, the rollers, the scout wheels, at least the ones on the outside, the outer 4, and putting them on the lowest setting all the way here, so that when you can set the deck down, you can still get your hand under it if you need to lift it up, which you may need to do some to get these bolts out. So with the deck up, take those off and put them on the lowest setting if you don't have them there already. And then once you put those back on, I just hand tighten the nut on it so it'll stay in place. And then set the deck all the way down. So just let the deck down to whatever height you want. And it typically ends up resting on the wheels. And then you can take the front mounts that go here and here loose, which is this assembly. This goes through the bracket itself. You'll see it has the rounded hole here for this bushing to go through, and then it's just big enough on the other side for the bolt end to come through to put the nut on it. So this is a 15 millimeter nut here that you can take off, and then you can drop this out of this part here once you slide the bushing and all out, and then I just reassemble it to keep it all together. There's one on either side that hangs off of here, and in order to loosen this to get the upper end off, this is a 19, I think this is a 19 millimeter, is what I had on this, and it's a 15 millimeter bolt head on this side here. So put your wrench on there, put your little impact on here, back it off, and do the same thing on the other side. These back ones, I've got it turned around, but there is a nut. Matter of fact, I didn't put it back on there. This nut here, it's typically facing on this side. It's a 19 millimeter as well, if I remember correctly from a minute ago. So you'll take that loose. This has a squared, like a carriage bolt here, and it goes through this bracket. You'll see where it's squared there, and it's round on this part. The bolt head goes in this way, comes out, and the nut goes on the outside of it. One on either side, and you have to line it up with this arm here and this arm. So it has to go through the bracket and through both of these, just like this. That's a little aggravating to get loose, so you may need a floor jack to take some pressure off of it, and like a rubber mallet to kind of hit the bolt head and kind of tap it back through to get that off. And then once you do that and it's sitting down on the ground, you just simply kind of drag it out from under the mower. I would recommend turning your caster wheels around this way so they're sticking further out the front. Just gives you more space in between here to be able to drag it out. Also, obviously, you got to take the deck belt off. And one thing in order to do that, to remember, is you'll have your 1/2-inch pull handle for your tensioner pulley here. You'll release the pressure off of it, remove your belt. There is a guide bracket that kind of sticks down and wraps around a little bit to kind of keep the belt from jumping off of here. I call it a guide. And it has a nut on top that is a 13 millimeter. So you'll need a 13 millimeter, a 15 millimeter. Basically, I would suggest if you have a metric set of wrenches and sockets, you just grab everything from a 13 millimeter to a 19 millimeter, and if you need it, you'll have it. So the front and rear scalp wheels, anti-scalp wheels, they have a bolt and a nut. They're both 15 millimeters, front and back. So you can just get a wrench and an air ratchet, take those off. And like I said, once you get your deck slid out from under there, I've got mine setting up on some 4x4 blocks so that I could manually remove the rollers that it was sitting on and just set them over there. I did corresponding positions on the new deck so that the same rollers are in the same spot. It's just the way I did it. And then what you'll have to do at some point, which I'm about to do, is you'll have to stand the deck up to get to, I think, these two pulleys and the idler arm, tensioner arm here, and has a bolt head going through the bottom. So just want to make sure, I think these are carriage style smooth heads that just go through a square slot, but I want to stand the deck up to make sure, because I don't want it to start spinning and then I have to let off, and then obviously stand the deck up anyway. So go ahead and do that from the get-go. The pulleys on the spindles, those are removed with these 4 bolts here, all 4 of these on each one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe these are 13 millimeter. So you got 3 or 4 on each one of the 3 pulleys. And then once you take that loose, there are 6, I believe, mounting bolts or nuts that you take loose from the spindle assembly, and the spindle assembly comes out the bottom. What I would recommend too also is, obviously, when you stand it up, you can take the blades off the bottom. Some people may want to leave them on. I guess that's just a preference. That's the point I'm at now. So everything from a 13 millimeter to a 19 millimeter wrench, floor jack, 1/2-inch pull handle, like I said, sockets and wrenches 13 to 19 millimeter, just to make sure you have everything. I'd recommend a rubber mallet or a small hammer to tap out any of the bolts that may get wedged in a slot. And yeah, that's where I'm at this point. So just some tips and tools there, and I will get back once I get the spindles and pulleys and stuff swapped, and just verify all the tools that I use, you know, socket, wrench sizes, etc., etc. So y'all stick around and we'll do some more how-to on getting this thing swapped out. Alright y'all, as you can see, got everything off the old deck. I just stood it up so I get everything off. You see I got the spindles and pulleys. Again, everything is put back. Spindles are in the same place. So this spindle here came off of that side of this deck, so the closed side. The discharge side, so everything is the middle, goes to the middle. So I'm putting everything back in the same place as far as orientation, the scalp wheels and spindles. So everything will be in the same position. Obviously the other pulleys have to go there. I've got the ACS off. It'll take a little while. I'll probably run it a short little while without this, just because I've got to drill holes and get these spacers and stuff loose, so that's going to take a little longer. But everything is loose. The spindle, the lock nuts that go on the spindles to hold them, they go in from the underside of the deck, and like I said, there's 6 on each one. These are 13 millimeter, and then you've got the 4 bolts that hold the pulley to the top of the spindle. Those are also 13 millimeters. The nut that goes on, both of these are carriage bolts that have a square head that locks into the deck underneath, but these are both 18 millimeter nuts that go on these. So that's what you'll need there, is an 18 millimeter socket with like a small impact. I'm using the Earthquake 3/8 drive impact here. Works great. You can pick those up at Harbor Freight for $100 something, I think. Pretty cheap. Might even be less than that. Might even be $80. And I think it's rated for 400 foot-pounds, so you can crank it up with that. This one, the tensioner arm, idler arm, whatever you want to call it, tensioner arm, is an 18 millimeter nut and bolt. So there is actually a bolt head under the deck that you'll need an 18 millimeter wrench for, to hold on to it, so when you tighten it down, the bolt won't spin. So every one of these spindle locations has a belt guide arm on it, and these all are positioned a certain spot. And if you're swapping it out, I'll show you on my deck, as you can see where it was at on this one. You see where the end of it was here, and it went around this way, and this is where that little arm turns up right there. So you can line it up on the same, so the back bolt hole in the middle is where the second bolt opening in this guide works. So if you take that over to this one, you'll see this is first and second. Second one goes in the middle, so you can line it up. That'll be in the same position it was on the other mower. So that's where that one goes when you put the spindle back under it. Same thing with the other two. Find the location off of the lines. You can see this one has it. Starts here, goes towards the front of the deck, and it splits this stud. So the bolt hole kind of in front of and behind is how you mark the one on the discharge side over here. Same thing with that one. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to work to stand this one up, get the spindles and stuff put back on it, and then once I have it all assembled, I'll do a quick, just kind of take a quick look at it and see what it looks like. I'll put back together, obviously, and I will have the new deck ready to go back under the Z920. And I'm going to sharpen a set of blades and put a freshly sharpened set on them before I leave out here shortly. So y'all stick around. Alright y'all, well, I got everything on it except one thing. If you can tell, this pulley is not on the mower. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it on in a second, but I've got to go get something, because if you can see all these nice little shavings and stuff around here, and there's the piece. the bolt that holds the pulley on. As soon as I put a little bit of pressure on it and hit it to snug it down, it snapped off. And it snapped off in here. So, I did get my drill bits out. Broke one bit, but then I went through two other bits, got a little bit bigger each time. The third bit actually gripped the part of the bolt that was in there and literally just threaded it all the way through. So I did hand run another bolt through it, and it twisted all the way down through there, so no damage to the threads, thankfully. Yeehaw. But you can see I got the spring, all the pulleys, everything's snugged up on here. I just got to get this one back on and put the blades on it and put it back under the mower. So that's all I got left with that. Again, that's what's going on with it. So show it to you once it's back under the mower, and then we'll have to cut some grass with it. Hopefully it don't rain. Alright y'all, so making a quick run. Stopped and got some gas while I was uptown. Went up to my local Ace hardware store, so see if they had a bolt that would match the length and thread pattern for that pulley. And if you can't hear, it's raining a little bit, a little sprinkle, but just been some little passing patches of rain, but nothing too serious, nothing too heavy. So my goal or my plan is to, once I get back, put the last bolts in the pulley on that one spindle, and then it's simply getting the deck slid back up under the mower and all the mounts and stuff put back on it, the hangers. So I may wait on that so I can go. There's at least 1 yard I got to finish up. I'd like to go cut another one, but we'll just see how the weather plays with that. And plus it's now like 5 o'clock, so been an interesting day, and hopefully this has turned into a decent how-to video. But I'm on my way back to get that last little bit done on the deck, and maybe if I can throw it back together quick enough, and I can show you what it looks like complete, instead of having to wait till another video. But y'all stick around and get it wrapped up. Well, we have hookup. So I got everything mounted back under the deck. Best to use a floor jack. These are really aggravating to get back in if you don't have a way to lift the whole deck up level, and you have to do it one side at a time. Big pain in the butt to get that bolt to come all the way through, and then for the square part under the carriage head over there to slide in that slot so that it'll actually tighten all the way up. But got it, tightened it up. This is a 15 millimeter nut. This is a 15 millimeter bolt head on the back side that you need a wrench for, and then a 19 millimeter I guess you call it a sleeve bolt, sleeve nut, to go here for that hanger to go on. One thing I found out while I was mounting it is it's kind of odd, but in order for these to hang straight, the discharge side has to be in the back slot, and the way the brackets work, the other side has to be in the front slot. Like that. So you can see it's in the front hole rather than the back one like on the other side. So same thing here with this carriage bolt nut, 18 millimeter. It's those 4 hangers. Once you get those on, I've already got my caster wheels, scalp wheels, mounted to the position that allows me to cut my normal cut height range, which is 2.5 to 3. It actually goes from 2 1/4 to 3, but I've got them all in that middle slot on the brackets. So all the casters are evenly spaced. So the only thing I've got to do here is put the belt on. Once I do that, going to, it's a little easier to do it with the belt on, so once I do that, I'm going to turn it and jack it up and put the Oregon gator blades on it that I sharpened. Those are the G3s or G5s. I think they're G3s. It's a 396-769 is the part number. So if you have a 54-inch Z-Track deck, there's just some good Oregon mulching blades for them. And that is about it for the deck replacement on the Z920M. So a lot to go over with this one. Not a lot of live action, but kind of broke it down for you to each part. Again, be careful not to over tighten these spindle bolts here that hold this, or the pulley bolts that hold this to the top of the spindle. So spit it out, Josh. I'll get it out in a minute. The words all tangled up in there. But yeah, don't do what I did and twist one of them off. So it's probably best even not going to the lowest setting on an impact, small impact, is to maybe just use an air ratchet and just kind of go around maybe and test tighten them one extra little time once you get them to snug down. And there you have it. New deck on the Z-Track, and get the blades on it, and hopefully this thing will rock and roll for another 1,500 hours, and we'll be making some money with it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully this was helpful if y'all ever decide to tackle something like this. And I still have to put my chute blocker on, but I'm not overly worried about that. I'll get it probably later on this week. I've still got to get the spacers and bolts out over here, and the spacers, I think they just got trash or dust buildup in them, so just got to take a little time to get those 3 knocked out. So once I do that, we'll be back to full bore. So there's my new belt. I'm gonna get it put on so I can get this loaded up and get back to the house. So I'll close it out in a minute. All right, y'all, real quick closeout. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the how to install slash replace the 7-iron Pro Deck 54-inch on the Z920M John Deere. So probably pretty much the same route as far as things you have to do with pulley removal, spindle removal, all of that stuff. Just kind of keep an eye out for the positioning of a lot of stuff, and make sure it goes back into similar position. So sorry, I'm gonna catch in my back, but got it on there. Like I said, hopefully it was helpful for somebody. Not going to drag this ending out too much. I've also got new blades on the quick track, and you've seen in a previous video where I did the adding the fuel pump module. So, and like I said, I got a muffler on the way for it. So I'll have them rolling again here. They're still doing the job. And again, I want to thank everybody who has already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Have you ever done this before? Swap the deck out on the Z-Track? Anything like that. So somebody joked, and I kind of laughed and considered it. They said I need to take the old 7-iron deck and try to mount it to the quick track. Not really sure how that would work, but that would be a pretty cool idea. Biggest problem would probably be finding a belt that would work, or belts that would work, but not even going to get into that right now. But so got all that going. Again, thank y'all. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I appreciate all of you watching. Y'all be safe, be kind, be blessed, and catch you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.